Greetings, Patriots, Star Seeds, light workers, and of course our brave military. Welcome to 1776 United. We're in a worldwide and galactic revolution. Now there's just so much news that's coming down, flooding the airwaves, on social media and stuff like this, and I just want to touch on a few points. Now, the Prime Minister of Japan has resigned, and France has collapsed. Totally. That was a formal announcement, and they will have to bring in probably new people to take over at that thing. Macron, and of course his male wife, whoever that is, are nowhere to be found. And like I said, they're probably being held or arrested somewhere. Now, in England, they're shuffling the cabinet, but it's on deaf ears, and it's very, very futile. I expect Farage to be taking power. I'm hoping that he does take on the responsibility, but I know that Stalmer his days are numbered, and he will probably be arrested soon for trials for crimes against humanity, and of course trying to incite insurrection, which is trying to continue the war to hide his criminal activity. So you can expect a lot to happen inside the United Kingdom very, very soon. Not to mention the people are rising up. Now, speaking of people rising up, Nepal has just burnt their parliament building. They stormed it and set fire to everything, and they drove all the congressmen and president out, and they basically grabbed them and carried them over to the river and threw them in the river naked. They stripped all their clothes off and threw them in the river naked, and they were not allowed to be back on shore. They just let them. They lined up the coastline full of Napoleons and threw these criminals into the river and let them float down the river naked. So good luck with that, politicians, whatever you want, parasites, because those are shark and alligator infested waters. So, on some other fronts, like I said, Japan has resigned. The prime minister there has resigned, and they are going to collapse. Now, there is several countries that are on the brink that will not be able to pay back their debt. One being, and this will come out in the news, the public news, very, very soon, which will be number one is Canada, the United Kingdom, France, because they cannot tit-feed off the Africans no more. They've been all kicked out of the several countries that they were invading their assets in. They were doing it since the Second World War. During the Second World War, they had infiltrated those countries and, used that narrative of, we basically saved you from the Nazis, so we're going to come and take all your assets. And then, of course, there was, throughout all that time, over the 70 years, they were negotiating new contracts and everything else. And finally, the Africans had enough because they knew they were getting swindled, and basically threw out the French out of every one of their countries, along with a couple of other countries, European countries, that also got thrown out. So Africa is becoming very, very independent, and of course the cabal, the deep state, negative extortionists are trying to assassinate the leaders of these countries, but I see the 51 countries of Africa joining as one. So there'll be so many targets, they won't know who to hit. This is, what we call a movement, and this is what we should have in Canada. We should have, constitutional elected committees, people that that would do a good job, that were going to be paid for doing their 4 years and 4 years only, to contribute to society, to give back to their country 4 years of your life, and you'll be paid for it. And you do a good job, and you'll be able to pride your name and your legacy, knowing that you were a very, very important part of the restructuring of Canada. I believe this is the way to go, because with these constitutional committees, I like the same as in what's in going on in the United States, or what they're trying to do. It will be a good scenario, rather than have these politicians that are so easily influenced by unelected NGOs. Now, speaking of NGOs, anybody that has been involved in human trafficking, and or even taking money from human trafficking, I just want to give you a very, very clear message here. The military is coming for you. The military is coming for the politicians. Um, as the politicians already know, they have to play out in this movie script, because there is over 220,000 central casting actors that are out there. And that includes not even we don't even know if we don't even know how many Trumps there are. We don't know how many Putins there are. We don't know how many Kim Jong Uns there are. We don't know how many Xi Jinpings there are, or Evander Mote. Who knows? I mean, there's so many actors out there that are playing different parts. And but I can say one thing for sure: this is a military operation. And of course, they've been collecting the data since at least 2015, when they were taken over. The deep state did have control of the NSA. They did have control of the three-letter agencies, and they did have control of the Space Force operation, which was the data mining and surveillance of every person on the planet, because they were going to do some very cruel things to the freedom fighters and truthers that were out there, conservative truthers. But that all got turned around because we had the military come in and take care of them. So that being said, now all that data mining has been collected by the Space Force and Earth Alliance and other military patriots that are there, and all that has been collected. And anybody that has been involved in any type of corruption, and you're holding a authority of office of any level, using your authority and your powers to gain your will, or fill up your bank accounts, you are on notice. You have been put on notice. And it just goes and shows the arrogance of people like Senator Elizabeth. Let's just call her Pocahontas. She basically was trying to scold Pam Bondi in the congressional hearings. And Pam Bondi said, "What about the $100 million that you have taken?" And of course, Elizabeth Pocahontas said, "Well, that is nobody's business." And of course, Pam Bondi turned around and she says, "Of course, it's everybody's business. You're taking Americans' money." So, these shrills, these parasites are going to be accounted for. Their money is going to all be seized. And of course, all the money seized in the world is going, from illicit operations and child trafficking and all this other stuff, is going to be put into the Treasury and eventually transferred some of it back over to the Federal Reserve, which will not be the Federal Reserve anymore. It will probably turn into the, something other than what it is as the Federal Reserve, which was a was an incorporation, offshore corporation that had nothing to do with, helping or reversing money or returning money back to the people. It was to fill the unelected banksters and NGOs around the world, other than the Americans. And of course, the now, like I says, all that has been recorded, and that money confiscated, and they have been arrested. Many people are being arrested every day, and because they have broken the law. It's plain and simple. Now, this thing that's going on with Trump going to war with America and and the American people. Well, no, he's not. I mean, let's keep this perfectly clear. I mean, the what the operation is he's going against the criminals, and if you're illegal inside of another country, uh, y- you broke the law. You go to any other country, if you're entering that country illegally, you're going to be arrested. Why would it not apply to America as well? But we have all these, these libtards and Karens out there screaming and hollering, this is such injustice to, to human, to the human beings and all this other stuff. Well, they're not human beings. They're gangsters. They're rapists. They're child trafficking. They're all kinds of things. And Trump's not. I mean, if you're a good citizen and you're doing your work, doing your job, and you're not doing any crime, you're not going to be harmed. The military's there to protect you, and this will apply to people in Canada as well. So I don't know where everybody's getting all freaked out. And we do have a lot of shallow-minded liberals in this country that need a shaking, and I'm going to, like I said, love the day when this is all exposed, and I'm just going to try to figure out what the hell they're going to say then, about exactly having our cities cleaned up of all the drug infested streets that have been caused by the CCP and the Chinese operators and militaries, whatever is involved, that are hooked up with the cartels in Mexico and wherever else they are. And of course, not to mention all the cartels that are in Canada right now, very, very, bringing in, billions of dollars, if not trillions, through every type of, breaking every law known out there, to build their empires. And all this is going to get stopped. And like Trump has said, from 2016, the first day he got in, the only way is the military. All right. Now, there's so many layers to this onion. The bad peels, or the bad parts of the onion is being cut out, and new layers are that is good is being applied. So we're going to see this transformation of the old ugly corruption leaving or disappearing, um, and of course the new awakening, which is the golden years, which is basically Trump's telling you now of what's coming. So and most people that are looking into this or even resonating with this can understand exactly what is about to happen here in the coming months. And everybody's saying when. Well, I think it's going to be, and I'm just I'm kind of sticking my neck out. Well, I know for sure it's going to be this year. Okay, we're only into September now, so we still have October, November, December, and I really think it's going to be a really great Christmas. I think there's this fake movie was put together years and years ago to wake up the planet, because we have 80%, 90% Karens and shallow thinking liberals that just cannot figure it out. And it's really a fault of the cabal for juicing them up with Kool-Aid and juicing them up with poison food, juicing everybody up and just dumbing them down inside our education centers. And all this is going to stop, and we're going to be into a new planetary rejuvenation with new planetary positive frequencies that are going to be coming. So I want everybody to, look forward to that. And we do not need to focus in on, um, the bloodbath that's happening right now, because, like I said, the positive forces, the alliances, and the patriots of this world is coming down hard on all these criminal actors. And like I said, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in. It could be the highest of the high, or or the people that walk in the streets doing criminal activity. You're all going to get cleaned up. And that being said, my time is up for now, and we'll see you on the next.